serious issue, domestic violence. The Providence House is closing their safe house at the end of this month. The state is now reviewing 2 applications for another domestic violence program in the area, the YWCA and Project Celebration from Manny. How critical is it that our community has a domestic violence shelter and a program?
This is very important, Erin. It's important for family members to have a place to go, a safe place to go. It's important for us in the criminal justice system, whether you're talking about law enforcement officers as first responders or for those of us in the court system, it's important for us to have a place for witnesses to be. Because we can't prove a case of domestic abuse battery. We can't prove criminal cases without witnesses. And we need those witnesses to be safe. It's impossible. No piece of paper, whether it's a restraining order, a peace bond, whatever it is, an injunction, none of that's bulletproof.
Right.
So a safe house is a very real need.
Does it need to be here in Shreveport-Bossier? I mean, that would kind of put your hat in one of the camps, I would imagine.
Well, I mean, the logistics, certainly the demographics would tell you that. I mean, there's 252,000 people in Caddo Parish, and 200,000 of them live in Shreveport. So, and when you add 100,000 over in Bossier, you're talking about 1/3 people in this area. So we need to have some safe facilities for victims.
Do you see that the community is finally coming together to make this happen for a permanent solution?
Well, I'm hopeful that will occur. I know that there's been a resurgence of the YWCA, and I'm hopeful that either that program or the Project Celebration, with which I am somewhat familiar, because I know they receive funding through the LCLE, the Northwest Law Enforcement Planning Agency, and things of that nature. That's the method by which federal funds go through the state, and state adds funds to it, and then it comes to the local level.
I do some work with the YWCA, and folks know that listen to us regular, and actually spent 5 years before my children were born working as the victim advocate, and actually went to court with victims that were trying to get protective orders. So I know a little bit about the system. I know a little bit about how it works. And it's going to need to involve a shelter, but it's also going to need to involve the legal community in terms of assisting these people to get protective orders.
Absolutely. And the Shreveport Bar Association has been very good about that. The clerk of court's office is very good about that. The domestic judges are very mindful of that, as the juvenile judges are.
Yeah, and that's a real key part. It also needs to have a counseling component too, because you have these women who they feel lost.
Absolutely.
They don't know where to turn. They need some help.
And many of them are they're emotionally dependent, they're psychologically dependent, they're either physically dependent, they're certainly financially dependent on others, and all of which makes them vulnerable